Good evening. This is Grown Folks Talking Network. Express yourself. This is the Concerned Citizen Coalition Wednesday night show. We have a definite newcomer and a dynamic speaker. He's so dynamic, none of us have heard him yet. But we're all online with big ears and small mouths because we want to hear all of what he got to say. I won't delay nor continue on. I will just introduce him as Tremel. Tremel, this is your show, sir. Do your thing.
Okay, I appreciate the long introduction there. Appreciate that so much. Well, I don't really have like an introduction to this, but I kind of wanted to know, like from y'all's standpoint here, for speaking from the younger generation, I have a question for, just advice really, what can you give to the younger generation about dating? How can you, or how can a man/woman keep their partner? That's my topic for tonight, and I would like to pick y'all's minds on
that. That's one of them topics that make you go,
Yeah, go ahead, OG. You can kick it off.
Yeah, what can y'all give to the younger side?
Well,
what's on your mind?
Right. What you talking about?
You the topic, Brian.
Well, okay, so what I mean by that...
And you need to speak up.
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay.
Barely, you're talking kind of smooth, like you're talking to a woman or something.
No.
That's my job.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm heard, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm asking is, like, how would you, or how do you keep a woman, or, to be, everyone to be included here, how would you keep a man? What would you expect as, like, a man from a woman? Like, what's your standpoint? Like, where do you really, like, flow in? Like, how do you move in a relationship? How should you move in a relationship? Like, where are you in a relationship? Like, how do you keep your partner? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
May I comment?
Oh, go ahead.
So 2 songs came to mind. Same Thing It Took and Respect Yourself. And maybe in reverse. So coming into a relationship, you're first meeting the person. So if you're respecting yourself and being honest with yourself, when you engage with this person for the first time, it's man and woman, it should be with true heart. Not even knowing you're going to be dating, just with true heart. Most important, it's knowing yourself. So you know yourself, you respect yourself, and you enter engagements, interactions, honest and fully knowing. Not the other person, but knowing yourself. And inclusive in knowing yourself is what it is that you need in your life, what it is that you're willing to bring into someone else's life. And then patience. You get to know the person. And if you're at the point of dating, hopefully all of that, wonderful ingredients are in place, and you keep them in place, but you also keep learning. You don't stop learning yourself and the other person. The other person should be growing. You should continue developing. Do not I can't say it like that. I don't recommend going into a relationship or being in a relationship and setting demands. That's unacceptable on my end, speaking for self. You don't set demands. You respect who you are You respect who they are. And if they are not the people for you, don't try to change them. But we grow and we develop. So let's say you're in your 20s and you meet someone and you're in a relationship. You are not going to be the same people in your 40s, 50s, and 60s because you're still breathing, you're still engaging with the public, you're still working, you're still learning life, and you're still learning yourself. But keep that communication open with that individual. Always be able to, just like a business, always be able to come to the table and assess and reassess and evaluate your plans, your dreams, your goals, making sure that you both are still in a flow moment. But you're too old to know, same thing it took. It says the same thing it took to get that woman, it's going to be the same thing to keep her. So come in true, come in honest, and come in knowing that you're still becoming. Both of you are still becoming. Thank you.
She used a hook from an old school song by The Impression. Same thing it took to get your baby hooked. It's going to take the same thing to keep her. Now, I appreciate that, Miss Avanye. And I've been thinking about dating. I mean, not thinking about dating someone, but the thought have crossed my mind. Because I spend a lot of time on the internet when I'm at work, because we don't really have nothing else to do. And one of my associates that I had an engagement. Let's say we started out to be friends, and I kind of explained to her that I didn't really want to get into a committed relationship, because when I was introduced, it was to be dating. I'll see you. We'll come to each other's house. We'll cook. We'll have drinks, what have you, and listen to music. And if it goes further, it goes further. I made it plain and simple that I didn't want to really take it that far. But the young lady, people put their life stories on Facebook and come out, how they do their profile, and couldn't wait to say, I'm in a relationship. And I would say, hey, congratulations, gave it a 100 symbol, because I'm happy. If, when you're in your 60s and you can find that special someone, so be it. And I was thinking about it, I probably don't want to end my life being a old, lonely soul, but I'm still wondering, it have to be that special someone that you want to, if you want to have a relationship or date, and then take that date to the next level, and it may go to the next level. That person have to be like the two ladies that I married. You got to really sweep me off my feet, and I got to be willing to sweep you off yours so that we can make it worthwhile, because I'm not in it just to be. And I tell the person straight up, right now I'm not really the guy you want. And I'll go as far as to say I ain't no good. I'm good. I'm a good person. I got a big heart. But I'm not going to break no hearts, because I don't want mine broke. And that comes with maturity. Back in the day, I didn't care. But as I grew and found meaningful relationship, you start to care. And if you're a human, you don't want to. You want to be treated like. You want to treat someone like you want to be treated. So that's my take for this segment. And I'll open up, let someone else speak. I'm going to go back on mute.
I appreciate
Hi,
that.
this is Ayani. I listened to what Devontae had to say, what Everett had to say, and I can agree with them. The only thing that I would add is to find someone on your maturity level or at a level that you can easily rise to. Don't go below your maturity level, because you're asking for trouble. And with that being said, I try to always ask for an open book. meaning truth. No lies, no shade, no underhandedness, no jealousy, no greed, no whatever, just truth. And you sit and you talk and you react to that truth. And as you discover each other's truths, you can determine whether or not you're going in the same direction. So for me, it's always an open book. If they can't do that, then, that says to me right off the bat, something's wrong. That's like a huge red flag. So if you get that huge red flag in the beginning and you decide to stay, for whatever reason and see what's going on, and you keep getting red flags, run. That's the only thing I can tell you. But anyway, have a good night.
Yeah, this is Dre. What's up, everybody? All right, so I agree with what she said. It pays to be what they call brutally honest. There's nothing really brutal about it, but you just want to be, forthcoming without any walls or blockages. You always say what you feel, mean what you say, and just be honest. Like she said, so you will entertain one another's company to see where you are, and then you will assess where you're at on you guys' journey. Are we doing this together, or what are we doing here? That way, you are acutely aware of you guys are individuals for one another. Hey, let's build and grow together. Or maybe we need to reassess our situation here and see where we are. We don't want to dig too deep with this or whatever. We can, reevaluate this early on to where it ain't no feelings too deep in there to when nobody is getting hurt. So that way you're not emasculating nobody's choice to entertain your company from that point on. That way you've been honest with them from the rip. So they'll say, okay, well, hey, they have a choice to want to pursue this further with you, or vice versa, without anything being hidden or anything else like that. So that's the main thing. I totally agree with her. It's just your honesty. Be honest. Always mean what you say what you feel, be forthcoming, and just be open to let it happen naturally and organically. I've had some miraculous moments in my life, all from being honest.
And I will agree with all of what everybody has said. And the only thing that I would add to any of that is going into anything, never expect more from someone that you're getting to know than what you would want them to expect from you. Never ask for more than what you're willing to give. Because keeping, as you all say in the younger generation, keeping it 100 is what it's really about. Because if you come like it was stated, coming to the table, being able to talk about things, being able to discuss do's, don't, wills, won'ts. Perhaps what you will or won't do, what you feel like you may want to try, what you don't. Being open, being able to communicate with one another is always the starting grounds for anything. Because if you can't communicate, you really are lost. And I realize everybody just can't open up and say exactly what it is they want to say or what it is they feel. But the next thing is, it was stated, knowing yourself. Well, if you know yourself and you got issues, then that might be something you want to put off until you get those issues resolved. Because anybody that's been out there dating at any point in time has had a bad episode at some point in time. And a lot of folks hold on to stuff like that. And I always say you never want to be dragging that wagon to a fresh garage trying to put it up, because it makes it heavy. and it also brings a lot of unnecessary turmoil to a situation where there wasn't any, because now that person is trying to get to know you, and you're not fully past whatever the pain was you were involved with. So it makes it a difficult process because you're not open. And it's like it was stated, knowing yourself. That's my 2 minutes.
And just to piggyback off of what the brother just said, this is Marcus. I agree. With the point you just made. That old stuff that people hold on to has a tendency to infect something that's totally brand new. And also the other thing about relationships that I think is lost in translation is that there are roles that are defined. However, there is, how can I say this? We don't dictate to each other. We don't do that because we respect each other. We complement each other, and we realize that we are like puzzle pieces when we come together. So we kind of interlock. Well, we do interlock. And when we do that, we become a more complete version of something new. So it's not really an individualized thing 100% of the time anymore once we're together that way. And I think that's lost in translation because more times now people seem to want to dictate, want to drive people, want to try to tell people and order people around what to do. And that's not how this works. It's not how any of it works. And that's going to lead to just like pretty much a stalled out engine. No engine oil. Because nobody wanted to put no engine oil in the engine, and then everybody want to argue about the fact that the engine stalled, but anybody could have took a quart of oil and put it in there before that happened. It's about complementing each other. Where I'm deficient, the other one fills in. Where they're deficient, I help to raise up and lift up. And we all work together like clockwork. And that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay. It's really good. Really good. I like what everyone was saying. It's really a lot to like write down, but I can get what y'all are saying, and I can really maybe I can give like a little TED talk maybe to some younger people out here for these reasonings, or for these reasons to stay loyal to your partner and help them feel either their partner or themselves like they can really feel like something different and help them really just come together. Does anyone else have anything else to say? Or like to input on something or have another input?
I have a question.
Okay.
Tramel, I'm going to believe you're younger than most of us. So what are some of the issues you're hearing people of your age?
Well, to answer that truthfully, I'm pretty sure y'all hear about like things on Facebook, things on all social medias. If you have Snapchat, if you had like Twitter or whatever, couples or within couples, people just go around and just cheat and they just do whatever, and it's really just trippy. And it's kind of scary for, like, you know, for what's to come for the future, for, like, you know, like, of relationships in a sense, because more and more, like, every day or every year, people just grow further and further away from, like, you know, doing the traditional thing, like, you know, being there for your partner and helping out your partner and just thinking things like, you know, like being together other than just like now, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want to just take advantage of each other and use each other and get grime on one another. It's really like kind of course, it's very different, very, very, very different from what I'm used to seeing and what I grew up around. So it's like, wow, this is like what's to come, you know what I'm saying? Does that kind of answer, or does that answer your question?
It does, and it leads to a further question. So, well, a statement and a question. Many times children have no idea what's going on with the adults in their families or their friends' families. And so I was listening to an interview with Michelle Obama and Jay Shetty. You all should kind of try to catch that. It was really fantastic. But one of the things she mentioned was regarding the news and how, so that brought me back to what you had said, how people are saying the world is so bad and there's so much going on and it was never like this before. She said, no, it was never at our fingertips before. But everything that's going on today has been going on. But the World News Tonight didn't show it to us, or Citizens app didn't exist in the 70s. Everything is now at our fingertips. So I say that because I don't know if you've ever heard of divorces that were like really ugly. Well, those divorces were ugly because those older people who are getting divorced, their relationship got grimy. They started disrespecting each other. Someone lost interest and didn't tell the other one. The same things are happening, is not always talked about. So because it's not talked about, people are not prepared on how to avoid it, prevent it, first of all. And then when they are in it, they stay in it much longer than they are supposed to. And so that's why I mentioned earlier, you know, you want to, and I think Marcus was mentioning it, and Ayani, I am a person who takes things to the worst end. I take it to the furthest end and prepare myself for it. Anything before that, I can handle. Anything in between, I can handle. And I'm not looking like a prenuptial. People go into marriages with prenuptials. They do that because there is that possibility that stuff just don't work out. And what you're doing is you're protecting your items. Now, prenuptials don't help your heart, right? And it doesn't keep your mind on track. So my policy and the way I handle situations, life, is taking it to the worst outcome and being prepared for that, not working toward it, not wishful thinking that it happens that way, but just looking at the worst outcome so it doesn't knock you down. So these relationship twists and turns are not new at all. It's at our fingertips. Social media has allowed things to, well, you don't have to get a production company to fund your film project now. You can just turn on your phone and then send it up. You know what I mean? Am I making sense?
You sure are. Yes, you sure are.
And I feel that based on what you said also, that some of the comments we made would be great advice to give to young people. I keep hearing that young people, the younger generation, are like the microwave, instant. Everything is instant, you know. And so if you're instant, there's not a lot of simmering. There's not a lot of marinating. There's not a lot of planning for a quality outcome. If you're jumping right in it like an Alka-Seltzer and then it's all ready, you know?
Interesting. Okay.
I'm sorry?
I said that's interesting. Okay. I had a statement and then I kind of lost it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, man. Take your time.
I was speaking about relationships being instant, about divorces not being new, about older adults having grimy relationships, so that's why they have horrible divorce situations. Divorce is not bad. It is just by the time you get to that extreme, then it becomes very ugly. Whereas, you could actually sit down at the table and say, we're not doing this thing the way we used to. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. I just remembered it, and you triggered it with a few words. So I'm gonna ask a question, and then I'm gonna say I'm just gonna go into it. You had said that this newer generation, or being in today's world, everything is revolves around social media. So we're able to see what society has put out, what they've been doing, but it's more so on a wider spectrum. Does that make sense? Like Twitter or Facebook, you can see someone post what their boyfriend or girlfriend did, and it was the most terrible thing ever. Let's say cheating for one. You're saying since because of social media, you can see that now what the world is what used to, right? Or what was not being shown. Does that make sense?
That is correct. We weren't seeing people's personal business, on our phones or even on our televisions. We weren't even seeing a lot of the war destruction and civil destruction around the world before, other than what World News Tonight would put on. So, yes, it's more instant and it's more available.
Okay. With that being said, do you think social media has influence or influence in a good way or a positive or a negative way for relationships? But now that we can see that it's at our fingertips, right? Do you think that's right for us to know their information, get in their personal lives like that?
So I am a solution person. So I would not say that social media is making it bad. I would say there's a lack of foundation. It's a lack of foundation because we, as older folk, we watched and knew some things were going on, but we didn't repeat it. I don't smoke, though it was always around me my entire life, and I drink once or twice every 2 or 3 years, even though it was around me daily. It doesn't mean that because it's in front of you, you have to do it. You have to adopt that behavior. It doesn't mean that. Even on the soap operas, we were watching soap operas they weren't really like these reality shows, but sometimes people will emulate their lives and hope for and prepare and do better or do different based on what they saw, whether it was that or Fantasy Island. They decided they wanted to go on a cruise ship. There are influences in the media. What's mostly missing in my solution idea, what's mostly missing is respect, love, and being grounded. We're missing good foundation because everything is quick. And it's not new again. I was watching, just quickly, I was watching, listening to Sirius XM Radio Classics, and it was a 1942 show, literally recorded in 1942, where the father came home, from work and greeted by the mom, and she was very concerned that the children were up in their room on video games, and she couldn't get them to come down and have dinner because they were upstairs in their room on video games. 1942, right? And then all of a sudden, this bright light came through their room door, and you heard this woo. So whatever was in the video game came in and took the children. 1942. So people think that this technology and the influences is all new, but it's what we know in our lifetime, what we were exposed to. We weren't exposed to everything, like we're not even exposed to everything now. You know, there's a whole lot being hidden from us, and if we don't believe that, you could go on Netflix and put in some special channels and some special codes and get programming that you've never seen before. So, you know, I don't think it's social media more than grounded foundations of understanding and respect of humanity. That's what's missing. That's what we need. And then people will be able to discern their behavior and how to operate in it. Did that make sense?
You said humanity and what again?
Humanity, love, and respect.
Humanity, love, and respect. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And I know you mentioned cheating. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I understand that completely. You were saying?
I know you mentioned cheating a lot. Cheating. So I had a job very quickly, and when I started the job on Monday, all I could hear the boss, who was a German, maybe Russian German, that would be the opposite, and everybody who came into the business, oh, how you doing? Oh, I'm okay. Everything going on. I'm okay. Oh, it was just a woe is me. He was such a victim. So as I was listening to people chit-chat for that whole week, I realized that his wife had an affair, and he was pretending to be the victim. So on that Friday when we were leaving, he said, all right, Missy, have a good weekend. I said, okay, you too. He said, oh, I'm going to try. There's so much going on at home. Now, I was really trying to mind my business. I know you all don't believe that's possible. So he said, everything going on at home. I said, hold it. I said, have you watched Bridges of Madison County? He said, no, but my wife has watched it. I said, I need you to watch that over the weekend, and we'll talk again on Monday. Talk to you later. And when I came in on Monday, I actually met him coming into the building at 8 o'clock. We talked until 12 o'clock. His wife had an affair, but he was having affairs long before her. He was having affairs when business was closed. He would be sitting there getting high on cocaine. He would be going to the bar and hanging out with his friends and eventually getting home. People think cheating is always sexual related, and it is not. It's anything that takes you away from the quality time that you should be spending at home. Not talking about work, but those extracurricular things that take you away from being where someone else wants you to be based on the relationship that you have. Sex is minimal. Other than catching a disease, sex is minimal because anybody can do it anywhere. It's all about your heart and your emotions. That's the most important thing, because people can go and have sex with other people and still love the people that they're living with. They can do that. So the cheating is no, they can't. Oh, what the heck? They can do that. I gave a talk on having an affair. Does it help or hurt? And in some cases, when people have affairs, it helps the marriage that the other person is in. Because sometimes people are in marriages, and I'm not even talking about an open relation, like a swingers open kind of relationship. I'm speaking about you are in a relationship in a marriage, let's just say, and for whatever the reason, one of the partners have lost their desire, not for the person. They love the person, but because of all the physical disorders and medications and side effects and all that other stuff, they've lost the desire. So the desire for sex. So, there's sex and there's making love. If you're married, you've been making love, I hope. So sex is just not it shouldn't be a duty. It shouldn't be a duty. But there are some people who have lost it, and it's for whatever the reason. Again, it's a lot of just physical and mental disorders that happen out of control of other people who don't even know why it's happening. So if that mate has a partner outside of the home, it's almost like going to the gym. Those endorphins get up and running and flying and assumedly doing this safely with a respectable person who's not going to be it or at, calling your house, just a relationship. So when that person comes home after their endorphins have been ruffled in their feathers, they're in a good mood. They are happy because they're getting that vitamin S. Not every day, just when they need it. And the spouse may not know that. No, see, that's it. The spouse may not know and may not even be concerned about it. It's just that they're not being annoyed by the asking. They're not being, because imagine this. Imagine you're in a relationship and your mate no longer has a desire for sex, and you were once not only sexual but truly enjoying it. How would you feel? And I don't mean one day. I mean like this is the new position. How would you feel?
You want me to answer that honestly?
Yeah.
I would feel like that person doesn't want to be with me, and then I have to start being serious. Like, I need that in my life. This is what we signed up for when we got married. It's part of that for me. Now, if you don't want to be with me, we can talk about it some more, you know what I'm saying? But I as a man in this relationship or just a partner in this relationship, that's what we signed up together for. So.
I'm almost shocked, but not totally. So, okay. So, in a neutral position, I'm going to say that when two people enter a relationship, unless they're entering a sexual only relationship, that would sound a little odd to me. And the one thing that I heard you say is that that person no longer wants to be with you because that's what you all signed up for. If you signed up for sex, then yes, that's what you signed up for. But if you signed up for a relationship should consist of more than sex. Now, I know that there are some Taurus men who wouldn't agree with me because Taurus men live to work and have sex. That's what Taurus men do. They work, provide, and have sex. But others in a relationship know that it's much more to a relationship than sex. So if you would take the position that this person doesn't want to be with you, now that person's going to be more unhappy. I'm just saying, if that's an attitude, that person is going to be very unhappy and uncomfortable with you feeling, not that that's all they mean to you. I'm not even going to get into that part, but that you want to break up. But they love you. They love you. They're in love with you. You have a family. You travel. You vacation. You socialize. You have friends. You have a life outside of the bedroom, outside of the sex.
Okay.
Right?
So my question is, how do you go about that then? How should you go about that then?
How would you?
Well, how would I?
I
mean, I'm trying to figure out, I don't know,
Okay, let me
probably would.
Let me switch it around. You, all of a sudden, for whatever the reason, the stress of work, are now on blood pressure medication. Many of the blood pressure medications causes you not to get an erection. If you can't get an erection, I'm sure people can find 150 million other things to do once a week. But if you cannot get an erection anymore and you cannot have fulfilling sex, you would feel your relationship with your mate is over?
You want me to answer that truthfully?
This is all we hear. This is all we hear.
I don't know if I can answer that truthfully. Because me personally, at a personal, like on a personal level here, I'm gonna try to figure out what I can do to fix that, because
he's got to have it.
I mean,
yeah, but even though
it's an unwritten thing for me, but it's a thing. Like I'm sorry, I have to figure out something. If I want to lose my legs tomorrow or my lower half, I'm going to figure out something to get something done down there, because you have.
Oh, no. I understand. Don't put it in the microwave, but I understand. But wait, how do you feel your mate should feel, and what do you feel she should do if you aren't able to satisfy her desires? What would be okay for you to do, for her to do?
Okay, so this not correlates, but goes back to earlier a little bit about, like, talking, or I was trying to say talking about it, because we have to get to some type of a point here, like, how can I do what I need to do to get you there, or what can I do? Can you support me in my goals? Just like help me, like, talk to me on a different level, because, like, we're at a problem here in our relationship, let me say that, for us to be together before, one of us goes out and just, leaves us spontaneously, because we refuse to talk about it, and then we know the other person is not happy. And yeah, because I was actually I was watching this movie a while back, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of I think it's called Ambulance or something, but basically there's a paramedic. He is saving lives, doing the normal job for a paramedic. One day, his friend is driving the truck, trying to get to somebody, and they get into a car accident. And like I said, the friend is the main cause for this, because he wasn't paying attention or whatever. And the guy, the main character, he ends up becoming paralyzed because he can no longer. Because of the car wreck. And now he has a girlfriend who they show throughout the movie, of course, before he gets into the car accident, slowly start to lose interest in him because he's angry, he's upset, he's on drills. He loses his legs, his lower half, so now he can't really do what he needs to do. But on him, he didn't want to say anything or have that talk, of how to maneuver and get to where he needs to be. And so him refusing that, he ended up his girlfriend ended up leaving him and going to his best friend. Like, that to me is crazy, because in a dire situation where I would have to talk about it, because, like, I can't really, like, please you, and I can't talk to you at the same time, because if I was him, yeah. But me personally, I have to talk. I have to get it off my chest, and I have to speak about it. Even if I'm angry, I have to. But that situation there really just kind of, like, ties into here, because, like, if you can't communicate, of course, or do something like that, feel like another thing sexually, your partner's going to leave. Whether she was, like, being supportive or not, she still ended up leaving him at the end of the movie. And the movie at the end of the movie pretty much turned into some different things. I'm not gonna say, but yeah, he's crazy.
Well, No one else has anything else to say?
I'm just thinking that maybe going into a relationship, people should come up with the what ifs. I take things to the furthest end and prepare for them. So you might want to start, like, if it's getting serious. Okay, honey, what if the thing that means the most to you could not be in our relationship anymore? What would you do? That's a question you may want to ask. So if it's for you, if it's sex for you, she's asking you, well, what if something happens and we can't have sex anymore? So you could be prepared, and this person will know. And each one of you should ask the most extreme cases long term. If I was in an accident and ended up in a wheelchair, because they had that, let me see, what is it called? Hold on. Oh, for better, for worse, right? They have those words in some of the marriage vows. So maybe that's how, once you see the relationship, don't even wait that long, because then you're in love by then. When you first meet at the club, at the restaurant, at work, say, hey, babe, long term, if some of these things were to happen, how would you handle it? You got to ask the question early on. And then you might have to just become...
Good? Sorry. Oh, sorry to cut you off there. Just
no,
very
it's
interested in. I was just thinking, maybe, I was asking, maybe, you should ask these questions early. You're saying ask these questions early on. So, say, if, first few dates or the first date, you throw in a what-if question. That way you can see what it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Pull out your survey. Make a survey. Get together with your friends, the younger folks, us older folks, and create a survey. Actually, it's probably very marketable. So if you don't do it, I'm going to do it. And if I do it first, I'll let you know. Really, that should be an app. Asking those questions that are important. Mm-hmm.
It really should. But I have another statement here. I think one of us had said it on the line earlier today, where we had mentioned, with time, you're not going to be the same. You're not going to think the same way you think as when you were, let's say 25. You're I don't know, further down the line, you're 40. You're not going to think the way you were at 25 compared to when you're 40 years old, right? So with that cognitive question, or not cognitive, with that question there, you say on the first date you meet this person, you met that person on the first date, and somehow, some way you got married, and you got married to that person. You think they're going to, stay with you a little bit longer, or stay with you to support you if something does happen? Do you think they're going to hold up their end of the bargain of that question, or would you have to reiterate that question to them further on, in the relationship? Do you think that, does that make sense?
Absolutely. So for me, relationships are like business. So you should always revisit and reevaluate your relationship. And it's not, okay, we have to do this on this day. No, but you want to just, because you're ever developing, you're ever changing, you're growing. So you want to definitely bring it to the table. Okay, how are we with our future plans? If your future plan was to retire in 10 years, let's just say from the time you met, are we still on track to that? Are we doing the things we need to do? Or are we going to try something different? Has things changed? Person might be in great health when you come together. Then they might get a horrible case of asthma, and you're living in a very humid environment. So now your plans for retirement may change. You might need to live in a drier climate for this person to stay as healthy as possible. But it's the same question you should ask when you're coming in, and it looks like you might be interested in this person. Say, what's your feeling on children? Do you want to have, that's that long contract. You're asking that question. It's a serious question if you're about to get serious with someone. What's your take on children? Do you want to have children? Let's say neither one of you do, or if you do you want to have more children? If you're a person who don't want to have children in your life, then that person is going to be the person you're going to meet in the club and dance up a storm and go on about your business with. So that is one of them, along with that thing you can't live without. That thing you can't live without brings forth children at times. So those are the questions you want to have. How do you feel about smoking? How do you feel about drinking? How do you feel about, all kinds of things going on? Yeah. You want to ask those are serious questions, but your life is serious, and you never know how soon you could be not pushed but moved into a commitment. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Revisiting. I like that.
With your clothes on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No way. I was going to say something, but we on the line. It's okay.
Wow. I've heard a lot tonight.
Does anyone else have any input they would like to say or anything like that? To further help my generation really, find their partner.
I would just say I feel for the younger generation.
What do you feel?
I feel like in a lot of ways, if you're one of those social media people, then social media is a major factor in your life. And I'm one of those folks, I don't feel like you ever should put your business on social media, because now you're asking for input that you really don't want. Because to me, when you do stuff like that, people comment, you read in the comments, good, bad, or indifferent, it still has a way of making you feel one way or the other about what you did was right, about what you did was wrong, about how you feel about certain things. I just don't feel like you need to put your business out there like that. And so many young people these days, that's how they live their life, on social media. And I just kind of feel like when you do that, you're opening up for a lot of flack that you may or may not want.
But
and if you're not strong enough to stand on your beliefs, then how much of this will you actually take in?
In some cases, social media could be therapeutic without a bill. So it all depends on what people are watching. When it comes to certain issues, people oftentimes think that they're the only ones going through these issues. But being on social media, unfortunately, if it's true, people can see that other people are going through these things as well. I mean, there's a lot to learn on social media. It's not all bad. But again, it has a lot to do with you. It has a lot. We could all watch the same show and get something different from it because it has a lot to do with the ingredients that we're made up with. So it's not terrible, social media. It has its benefits. Just like even if it wasn't social media, people watching what I call the nigger shows. I call those, what do they call them? Those reality shows. They're acting like fools to me. But those are the ingredients that I'm made up of. Other people watch them faithfully. So that's not social media, but it's still a behavior that some people would find unacceptable. But other people
Brother Nick.
You know, so I will say that in this age that we're living in, there was a time when men hardly ever used the telephone. You know, the men that I was growing up, the telephone was a woman thing. It was a female thing. Now, Men are carrying these things in their hips right next to their prostate with all the radiation seeping out. I'm sorry, that was another story. So, yeah. So, men are on the phone and on social media, grown men, older men, not the younger generation, than anybody else. Everybody's in it together, but it's all about your ingredients and your perspective and what you find attractive to you, actually. My opinion.
Okay. Tremaine, for those that have just chimed in, you want to go back over what the topic is for tonight?
Yeah, I sure can. The ones that just chimed in, the topic for tonight is what can you give the younger generation about dating? How can a woman/man keep their partner?
Open communication.
You said open communication?
Open communication.
Why do you say that, Brother Nick?
What was that?
I said, why do you say that, Brother Nick?
Because a lot of problems come from uncommunicated expectations.
Ooh, uncommunicated expectations, you said?
Correct.
Okay.
What was that?
I said, I was just agreeing with you on there because I do agree with that.
Yeah, so like a lot of times, either partner, they have expectations from their significant other, and they don't do it, but they didn't communicate it.
Okay. Hold on. I got a question, but I'm trying to form it the way that my friend went through. He said, okay, uncommunicated expectations. Okay, so say I'll throw you, or not throw you, but I'll ask you a question. Do you believe in being upfront at the beginning of a relationship when you're introducing yourself to your partner? Like, when communicating your expectations, like what you just said, do you think like all of them should come out, or just gradually over time you should communicate your expectations?
So from my personal experience, I've always been very open with what I'm going in for. If I know that I'm just trying to fuck, I'm like, hey, look, I'm here for a good time. Let me change my verbiage.
Please.
If I'm coming into a situation for mainly sexual intercourse, I always tell them, hey, this is what I'm in here for. This is my plan. This is my expectation. I don't see anything after this. If you're cool with it, cool. If not, then I'm going to move on because I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Okay. And you're usually like that. Is it, how can I say, being that open, do you have like a lot of like problems, or are you a lot more like, what's the word, in your relationship?
Women,
a lot more understanding?
From my personal experience, most women appreciate being up front because it gives them the opportunity to either move forward or to back out. Because at that point, you're telling them what your intent is. Now, the playing field is level. It's on them to make that decision.
Okay. Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier about being brutally honest. Same thing he just said.
Okay. Now, wait, hold on. I have my question. I lost it. This is a little personal question, You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Who's it to?
Is, you said what?
Huh?
You said, who is the question for?
I said, who's the question to, or is it in general?
It's for the both of y'all, really, but anyone in general can answer the question. But,
all right.
It's really just meant for everyone. Being that y'all said being openly honest and not too brutal, but just being upfront about how you should move in a relationship. Does those relationships usually last long, or do they build something else normally? Or normally.
Well, I think I'll go first on this one, Nick. I can only speak on myself. Like I said, we're not the gurus of relationship here. We're just giving you, tried and true situations that we can relate and report on. But in my experience, and most guys will attest to this, in my experience, they will usually any relationship is going to run its natural course anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's why love is so hard, because there is no safety net. You have to be all in order for it to happen. You have to be open. You got to let it bloom and blossom organically without a safety net. So with that being said, most times, that's not all times because everybody is different. You can't put people in a box. But most times, usually the opposite sex will kind of go with the flow because, like he said, you're not emasculating their choice. The playing field is level now, so now they have the initiative to say, hey, okay, I see what you bringing, what you said, what your not so much demands, but what you're looking for out of this. And I have the choice to say, hey, I think I might want to entertain this, or let me see where this goes, or, I'm going to go ahead and rock with you on this. That's usually what happens. They're going to respect you for your honesty, because what that does is lays the foundation for future endeavors as far as conversations and everything else goes. That person is going to know that you're not going to pull no punches. They can ask you a straight question, and you're going to give them a direct answer. So that's where the trust will begin to grow, and the respect, et cetera, et cetera.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead. I'm done.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course.
To add on to that, though, also, too, one thing I've learned in my short time on this earth is eventually the real you's going to come out anyways. So if you go into something not openly, having some communication, your true intent's going to be exposed anyways through how you move accordingly. And you're going to get exposed. And then now both of y'all are emotionally and mentally affected. Because you're playing games with one person and the other person's the one on the receiving end of the game. So that's why up front I'm always open.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
Mel.
Yes, I'm here.
Why don't we use this opportunity for you to ask us questions that you may want to know about, just like you did to help create banter, so you won't run out of topics to talk about.
Really, I think y'all answered my questions, the ones that I did have, because on the flow of the conversation, I'm just picking y'all's minds as I'm asking, questions on the fly, because I don't know. Like I said, I feel like you guys have answered all my questions that I wanted to know. Really, I don't really have any more, unless someone else wants to chime in and give me their point of view on how to keep a relationship or going and stuff. But actually, I think I do have a little bit. How do y'all have that question? How do y'all keep a healthy relationship or any relationship strong and going?
Staying young.
What do you say?
By staying young.
By staying young?
Yeah, staying young in the relationship, as in, as you become accustomed to your partner, you tend to stray away from everything that got that person in love. Whether it's getting them flowers on a random day, complimenting them, opening the door for them, just making sure your love stays young, because as you get older in your relationship, you tend to, once again, have these expectations. And when these expectations are fulfilled, you grow apart from each other. And that's when, obviously, uncommunicated expectations, right, come into play. What we refer to,
you kind of cut in and out there.
Huh?
Cutting in and out there. I don't think anybody can really hear all of what you're saying.
I'm on the way back from Jasper. I'm in a dead zone.
Damn. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead. We can hear you now.
All right, cool. Staying young. So, don't stop doing what you did to keep her or him. If he comes home from work and he has a blue-collar job, and that after work you take his boots off and give him a slight foot rub because you know what kind of work he does, as you get older in a relationship, that kind of gets tiring and exhausting, Or if, every Friday you're going to come home with a set of flowers, as you get older in the relationship, those things tend to go away because you're so comfortable with each other. And you become much older in the relationship with each other, and you forget to stay young within that relationship. Staying young in a relationship.
Keeping your relationship spicy.
Right.
Right.
You want it fresh and sexy as the years go on. You was dating her before you married her, so you keep dating her.
I guess you could say the term I would use is staying appreciative.
There you go. That's what.
I can definitely take that. Or whoever's listening can definitely take that.
Also, to add to that real quick, man, like he said, staying appreciative, but also consistent with that appreciation. As the years go on, you want to illustrate to that person that will always be at that magnitude, that it will never wane. It will always be steadfast, and that passion will burn like that as long as they're with you. You want to always reassure that, you know what I'm saying? You want to stay consistent on that.
And so
that's my little 2 cents on it, man. You embrace it. You know what I'm saying? You unapologetically love that individual, and you do it with conviction.
Okay.
Just to comment on that, I gotta agree with what the brothers just said about keeping everything spicy and following up with the conviction. That's all important. But also, never forget this too. You got to build a foundation. When you go into anything, whatever it may be, you always got to have a purpose for what you do. And relationships really ain't no different. It's just that everybody, I ain't even going to put it that way. Some people see someone and they like what they see, but they don't take the time to really take an assessment, an inventory to say, okay, why would I want to be with this person? Is this person on the same page that I'm on? Can we work together towards a goal, or are we going in 2 separate directions? Understanding, do you like them because it's physical only? Like, hey, you want to smash and whatever? Or is it because you like what you see, they like you,
and they have the same drive that you got. That's basically the inventory checklist that you wanna have, because once you have that, then you can put out there, well, look, this is what I'm on, this is my goal, this is where I'm going. You ride with me or not. This is what it is. And if they say yes, I'm riding with you, I'm riding down with you forever. Okay, fine, then let's do this. Bonnie and Clyde, here we go. And if anything ever go to the left, you can always come back to, hey, you already knew what this was from the beginning. We both sat down and, like they said earlier, defining what it is that you want in the beginning. That helps to keep that relationship on track, because you can always go back to, hey, this is what we agreed to, what changed. But you don't want to be in this no more? Let me know now. No hard feelings. No hard feelings. If you want to go, all right, no hard feelings. And that's my 2 cents. Okay. I appreciate that. I really do.
I'll chime in on that. I will agree with the brother. That foundation is extremely important, because that's where your partnership's coming in. And then it leads into the communication. Going into something, it's never 50-50. It's 100-100. This is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what you're bringing to the table, and this is how we're going to rock. And if you with it, let's ride out, baby. And so I agree with you completely, brother.
No doubt.
Anyone else want to,
Yeah.
come in and say?
Yeah.
What you got to add to that, OG?
Man, I mean, other than repeating everything that's been said, I mean, I'm totally in agreement with what has all been stated.
Yeah.
Having the foundation is the most critical part of a relationship, because you can't build if your foundation is not solid. And as time goes on, yeah, you do need to figure out ways to be inventive to keep your mate happy. Put in time, put in thought on the little things that you do that means so much to a lot. Never be afraid to express yourself to your mate, because I know a lot of brothers got that problem. They so into themselves, or feeling like if they say certain things to their mate or to a woman that they're with, it's gonna come off like they are a punk or something. And that's not always the case. You need to be able to express.
Can I add on to that, Brother Hamp?
Go ahead.
So you hit a very good point. A significant other, another thing as a man or even a woman, but mainly as minority men, because this is something, at least the older guys such as myself and especially Brother Hamp, his birth certificate says expired, but we'll get on that another day.
Don't get me started, boy.
Yeah, I love you too, big dog. But this is a real thing here. Like minority men have always been taught to keep those feelings in, and it comes to choosing the right partner as well, because will your partner accept that, or will they expose you? So you have to make sure that the person you go committed with, that you can open up, you can be vulnerable, because that is a manly thing to do. So picking your partner, making sure that it comes to open communication. Hey, I ain't feeling it today. This is what's going on in my head. And you got to be able to express that knowing that they ain't going to judge you. So that's what I'm adding on to Brother Hamp, though, when it comes to that, just making sure you do pick the right partner for that. Because there's people out there, women or men, who will expose you to it. And every time you bring it up, oh, you're just a weak-ass motherfucker. Oh, you're just a weak-ass.
Hey!
Hey, look, Nick, I appreciate your honesty, man. I really do.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Nick was a little too brutal with his honesty, but we got what the brother was saying. It was a colorful delivery, but we got you saying, big homie. We got you. It's all good, man. No worries. Yeah, you ain't got to get that brutally honest with her, bro. But, you can't have some tact in your delivery.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm just bonded, heavy structure, hung low. I'm going to stop.
Yeah, I got it. It's all good, bro.
I read you loud and clear. I really do.
It's all good, man. But you did bring a good point, man.
Yeah, you did.
Because, and if you discuss that with another brother, he might actually be the one to call you that.
That's right. That's right.
But, this is really good. I was just talking to my brother right now about this same exact topic.
Yeah.
Right.
I know, my marriage is, it's a failed marriage, but everything I exposed was pretty much why my marriage has come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
So from personal experience, Brother Tramel, that's why I'm able to state what I said. I was married 11 years.
Okay, yeah.
We all can attest to that. Big Mill. I was married 11 also, been divorced 14. So a lot of us have those, that same plateau of information we're giving you. This is tried and true stuff here. Like, we ain't just hang out in the library reading stats and whatnot.
But I will say this, though. Before you get in a relationship, you got to make sure you got self-love and you love and you respect the person that's in the mirror. Because if you don't know who you are, you can't expect to love somebody, right, and not know how you want to be loved.
Right.
I agree. Because how can you love me if you can't love yourself?
Okay. That's a good one.
So there's a saying, the saying, scratch my back and I'll scratch your back.
Yeah.
Right? But in a relationship, going into it, before you get in a relationship, this is actually a philosopher who taught me this. I'll take care of me for you if you take care of you for me.
I wouldn't necessarily call me a philosopher, but thank you.
Man, I'm about to pull up.
I wouldn't either. But you wouldn't. In the words of Hamp, you ain't got to break your wrist smacking yourself on the back.
That's it. And it's like I said, I will say this while we still have everybody on the line. I truly am proud of you, Tramel. Because this was your first one. And you did good.
Yeah, you got your cherry pop, big dog. You did good.
You did good.
You did good, homie. See, we didn't get this. The earlier members, we didn't get this. They just threw us into the fray and told us to keep it moving. So I'm listening. You getting the exclusive red carpet treatment now, homie. We came out, we showed out for you, man. You did good, bro.
Man, I'm just learning. I'm just listening to y'all every time.
Bunch of old heads
Yeah.
giving some game right now.
Yeah, you did good, man. So what we're trying to say is, you got $5 we can hold, man.
$5. No, bro, what you talking about?
Struggle meals for everybody.
You ain't gonna need that. Let me get that out, you bro. Yeah.
But it is 9:54. And as I said before, excellent job, Tramel. Definitely proud of you. Like the direction in which you're going with all of this. Kudos.
I appreciate that, Brother Hamp.
Nicholas.
I'm listening.
Believe it or not, Nick, I'm actually proud of you. You showed up and showed out. We got to curve the boat. We got to curve the tongue a little bit. But other than that, I'm proud of you, son.
Nick will always show out. That's part of his charm. That's just who he is.
Yeah. You know, they call me Big Dick Rick. I'm showing up to play.
Hey.
God damn it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm gone. He losing his mind. I'm out.
The recording is stopping?
Yeah,
Thank
stop
you.
recording, and all CCC members need to stay on the line.
Hey, Brother Gardner.
What are we doing?